Within 30 seconds of meeting someone new, I put my fingers in their mouth. I know that sounds gross, but what you don't know is my day job is being a dentist. See, it's not that weird. In order for me to help my patients with their teeth and their overall health, I have to understand where they're coming from in a very small amount of time. For my conversations with thousands of humans, I've discovered that I can use psychology to help me do just that, but also I can use psychology to help me make more money. At the very least, lose less money. So in this video, we're going over 7 psychology facts we can apply to our finances, and I had a ton of fun researching this video, so if you enjoyed the video, like it, comment down below if you want to see more, and subscribe so you don't miss out. All right, let's get started. Our first psychology fact is that humans are great at solving short-term problems, but terrible at solving long-term problems. When a patient comes in with a severe toothache, they almost always say the same 2 things: that they haven't slept all night and that the tooth has had issues for a while, but now it's become completely unbearable. It's not because my patients are lazy or don't care about their teeth. It's actually far from it. It's because a lot of us humans are in survival mode. We are incredibly good at solving the immediate problems in our life, but we often put off the long term because we're focused on the day-to-day. But remember, what we don't want to happen is we end up working our entire lives and end up with no money at the end of it and nothing to pass down to our kids. Or even worse, end up with having a little bit of money but not enough to cover your full retirement. Just knowing that to some degree we are hardwired to solve these short-term problems can actually help us remember to plan for the long term. So when it comes to investments, if we're preoccupied with the newest electric vehicle company or the new crypto that's supposed to take over all the money in the world, we're missing out on some of the most basic, simple, stable investments. These investments typically have less risk and have a proven track record over time. Now, I'm not going to tell you directly what to buy or sell. There are plenty of other people you should talk to, like a financial advisor, which I am not, just some guy on YouTube, but I will present to you a ridiculous finding. According to this article from insider.com, most investment professionals can't beat the market over the long term. These are literally pros with access to tools and training that the average person doesn't have access to, and even they can't consistently beat the market. Historically, for the past 50 years, the stock market has an average return of about 10% a year, which means every 10 years, your money should theoretically double. Now, how much you have during retirement depends a lot on what you invest in, how much you put in, and how long you've been invested for. But if you're investing early and often into something like the S&P 500 as much as you can and simply do nothing else, you'll probably beat these Wall Street professionals. I'm not saying don't take risks. Even I have some crypto and some covered call ETFs in my portfolio. But along with that, I also have less risky investments, which I prioritize first, because history says it works. Our second psychology fact is the fact that time is perceived, and we often perceive it wrong. If you listen to enough rich people on the internet, you'll eventually hear them say the same thing. Time is your most valuable asset. The reality is that we all have the same amount of time in a day. It doesn't matter if you're a newborn baby, a dentist, or the world's richest person. If you made it to the end of the day, we all had the same 24 hours. What often happens is that we overestimate what we can do in a single day, but we underestimate what we can do in a year. Look at this YouTube channel. The goal for this channel was to provide value to people about topics in money, finance, crypto, and so on. But the metric I was and still am using to evaluate if that is happening is views. My goal was to get on average 1,000 views a week by the end of the year, which means 52,000 views total from January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. In order for that to happen, it required me to make videos for YouTube, which consists of coming up with a video idea, making a title, a thumbnail, researching the video, scripting it, filming it, editing it, posting it, and then doing that as much as humanly possible in between my job, sleeping, eating, and making time for the people that I care about. As of July 16th, 2023, this channel has gotten 51,883 views so far, and it happened in just over 7 months. So on a long-term basis, I underestimated my channel from a time perspective by about 4.5 months. But what often ended up happening in the short term was me having a huge to-do list every day, and I almost never completed it. Sometimes I would take days to write a script, sometimes I would take hours. Some videos I edited way faster and some took way more time. At this current moment, I typically try to get a video out once every week, but that doesn't always happen. Life just gets in the way sometimes. But I still got almost 52,000 views this year so far, despite never feeling like I did everything I wanted to in a single day. The key factor was my willingness to keep working on the channel every day, even if it was just the tiniest bit of editing or just one sentence on a script. Just because I didn't do everything I planned on doing in a single day, I still did something which added up over time. Applying this to investing, even if we feel like we're not making huge progress day to day over time, the results of your efforts, even the smallest ones, compound on each other, and you end up with a huge accomplishment before you know it. So if you're investing in appreciating assets, your money grows. Slowly in the beginning, yes, but the growth of that money accelerates quickly as the years go by. If you invested $10,000 into an asset and you're getting a 10% return on your money and getting a 1.5% dividend yield, your position initially grows very slowly, but all of a sudden the growth accelerates in basically a straight line up. Our third psychology fact is that most people that set New Year's resolutions do not achieve their goals. I know this firsthand. Back when I was going to a public gym regularly, I made it a point to never go in January. That's because one of the most common New Year's resolutions is to lose weight, and people do that by going to a gym and exercising. But when February comes around, there is a massive drop off in how many people are there, and I was able to actually use the weights and machines again because there was just less people. This isn't me saying that I'm better than people who made goals to go to the gym and never went back after 30 days. Far from it. I have made plenty of goals, some of them for the gym, and never made them a reality. This is me saying that not achieving your goals is common, and this is dangerous when it comes to our finances. We need goals that are structured in a realistic way so that we actually have a better shot at reaching them. So making a goal realistic, measurable, setting a time deadline, all these things can help you increase your chances of success. When it comes to finances, one common goal is to retire a millionaire. But imagine if you said you wanted to be a millionaire tomorrow. Your chances of that actually happening are ridiculously low, and your best bet is probably going to buy a lottery ticket. Good luck. But if you expand your timeline to 20 or 30 years, you're much more likely to get to millionaire status by investing for the long term and letting compound interest work for you. Maybe you could start a business or learn more skills that help you make more money in your job, or start a side hustle. Once you know your destination and once you know how to get there based on the data, all you have to do is walk there. If you know your retirement number, know what to invest in and in what accounts, all you have to do is contribute regularly. It's easier said than done and full of nuances, but remember that 2.5 millionaires were created in 2021 in America alone. Someone is making it to that level, and I bet you they had a plan and stuck with it. Our fourth psychology fact is that almost everyone in the developed world has experienced the feeling of impulse buying. That's where you suddenly feel the urge to buy something that you didn't actively plan on spending money on. Just this past week, I was sitting in a hotel room for a few hours before my friend's wedding, and for some unknown reason, I got the urge to buy Pokemon cards. There's this new set that's about to be released, and it features the original Kanto Region 151 Pokemon. The nostalgia hit me like a bag of bricks as soon as I saw it. Look at this Mew. It is awesome. However, I did not pre-order the cards because I recognized that I was going to buy them for my childhood self who doesn't exist anymore. Me as a kid would have loved those cards, and arguably me today would love them too, look, don't get me wrong. But instead I chose to think of me at 40 years old and decided to buy dividend stocks with the money instead, because that's what future me would be better off with. So me and my Blastoise are going to be just fine without any new additions. So if you're like me and you're really susceptible to nostalgia and nostalgic purchases or impulse buying in general, reminding yourself that you're not that person anymore and you are your future self can help you make a better financial decision for your future. Our fifth psychology fact is that delaying gratitude can correlate to future success, and this comes from the Stanford marshmallow experiment. The general premise is that they took a young kid, put a marshmallow in front of him, and told them that they could eat the marshmallow after the adult left the room, but if the marshmallow was still in the room when the adult got back, they'd get 2. They found that the kids that could delay their gratitude ended up with higher SAT scores and some other fun findings a few years later. Now, the study is subject to a lot of criticism, so I wouldn't base your whole life around it, but it does mention the results seem to indicate that not thinking about a reward enhances the ability to delay gratification, rather than focusing attention on the future reward. That probably comes from the fact that they observed what the kids were doing while they were waiting. Some of these kids would start singing or talking to themselves, and one of them even fell asleep, which I think is the most clever option. And they did all this so that way they could not think about the marshmallow and end up getting 2 later on. So applying this to our money, there might be some validity to just investing in what our financial advisors suggest, turning off CNBC, social media in general, and just focusing on living a happy life instead of trying to get every single percentage out of the market every single day. Our last 2 psychology facts are what I consider every human's 2 superpowers. Psychology fact number 6 and human superpower number 1 is the fact that emotions can spread, and this is called emotional contagion. You know, in those nature documentaries when it shows the predator hunting the pack of gazelles, there's always one gazelle that looks up at the danger and then suddenly all the other gazelles start looking too. Not a single word was spoken, not a single sound was made, and yet all those animals knew something was going on. Or how about when you walk into a room and you can just feel the tension? Same concept. We humans are extremely aware of other people's emotions, and this can really mess us up when it comes to the markets. When it comes to investing, emotions spread a ton at 2 main periods: the top of the market and the bottom of the market. When the market is hitting all-time highs, everyone is making money, and it feels like the party is never going to end, and we are sometimes overly greedy and put more money than we should because, well, things are good and everybody else is doing it. Stocks only go up, we're all gonna make it, and diamond hands, right? But eventually the market comes crashing down and everyone feels terrible, we lost a bunch of money, it feels like we're never gonna make all that money back, and all these stocks and cryptos are just scams. The only direction is down, of course. So knowing that we can get caught up in the moment can actually help us survive the moment. We can be a little more cautious at the top because we know the party eventually ends, and we can be a little more optimistic at the bottom because assuming the assets we're talking about actually have value, the bottom is only temporary. Psychology fact number 7 and human superpower number 2 is the fact that you can choose how you feel. What's making rounds around the internet is the concept of stoicism, or the endurance of pain or hardship without the display of feelings and without complaint. Please don't bottle up your emotions. That sounds like a terrible idea for humans. But if we're able to recognize that we don't have to attach all this emotion to the markets, we can see it for what it is. It's just price action based on data and what other humans are buying and selling at the moment. So if we come at it from this perspective, we can make more logical decisions. The reality is that the markets don't care how we feel, and they don't care what we think should happen. The markets are just the markets. So if we can choose to feel less happiness or frustration and anger, or in a sense choose to feel more logically about the markets, we can make better decisions, like staying in our time-proven assets for the long term even when the market crashes, or cut our losses on risky trades that don't make sense anymore, or take profits when the market is going parabolic. Not financial advice, of course, just speaking in generalities. Now, arguably, you can take all of this information a lot of different ways, but hopefully knowing these things and attaching them to some of the examples I gave you can help make you more money, lose less money, and overall help you with your investing journey. So if you found value in the video, I would appreciate it if you let me know by clicking that like button, subscribing for more content, and let me know in the comment section down below if you want more psychology facts and how we can apply them to our finances. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.